Hello, welcome to your video on multiplying and dividing integers. You'll be able to multiply and divide integers to solve real-world problems. How do you multiply integers is the first question. So we're going to talk through some examples here. The first one being the 3 times negative 5. Now, I want to show you how this works a little bit so that you understand the rules that I'll tell you in just a second. So 3 times negative 5 means I have the number negative 5 3 times. And I'm adding in between there. Okay, I have 3 sets of negative 5. That's 3 times negative 5. You know that, you're used to that. And when I do this, my answer ends up being negative 5 plus negative 5 plus negative 5, which you know is negative 15. Okay? If I change this problem just a tad, I'm going to take negative 3 times negative 5. Now, because I took the opposite and made the 3 up from a positive to a negative, that's going to change my answer. I'm going to now have to take the opposite of negative 15, which is positive 15. So I went from a positive times a negative equals a negative to a negative times a negative equals a positive. Let's do another example. Here I have 4 times 6, which you know is the number 6 being added 4 times, repeated addition, which you know that answer to be 24. Now, to tweak this problem just a little bit, I'm going to take and make the 4 a negative 4. So now I have negative 4 times 6. So and because I took the opposite of 4, I now have to take the opposite of 24, which means my answer is going to be negative 24. Okay, so a positive times a positive, like we have here, equals a positive. A negative times a positive equals a negative. So the rules here for multiplying, if I have the same sign, my answer is positive. So that means if I have a positive number times a positive number, or I have a negative number times a negative number, that's going to give me a positive answer. Different signs. If I have a negative times a positive, that will give me a negative answer, or a positive times a negative will do the same thing. Please make sure you get what I wrote down in white on your notes as well. Your turn. 4 questions. Go ahead and tell me what your answer is going to be based on your rules and understanding of multiplying integers. Pause the video and then turn it back on when you have your answers. The answers are listed for you. Check them. If you made a mistake, make sure you know what happened. Big difference between positives and negatives. The second question is, how do I divide integers? So we're going to use this example, 12 divided by 3. Now, you know the answer is 4 because you have 12 items and you're dividing them into groups of 3, which means here's a group, here's a group, here's a group, and here's a group. There's 4 groups left over. You know that. That's nothing new to you. What we're going to do is change the problem just a tad. So now I'm going to take the opposite of 12 and the opposite of 3. Because I'm taking the opposite of both of those, your answer is going to actually stay positive. So when I take a positive divided by a positive, it's positive. And when I have negative divided by a negative, it actually is going to be also positive. Because you're taking the opposite of everything, your answer is going to be the same. If in the original problem, I only take the opposite of 1. For example, if I take the opposite of 12 and make it negative 12 divided by 3, my answer is going to change now because I only took the opposite of one of the pieces of the problem. The same would be true if I just changed and took the opposite of 3. That is also going to change my problem. So here's 4 different versions of similar problem. If I have a positive divided by a positive is positive, a negative divided by a negative is positive. If I have a negative divided by a positive, it's negative, and a positive divided by a negative is negative. In other words, the same sign is going to give you a positive answer. So a positive divided by a positive, or a negative divided by a negative. Make sure you write this stuff down. Different signs. So if it's a positive divided by a negative, or a negative divided by a positive, you will have a negative answer. This should be very familiar to you because it is the exact same rules as multiplying. Your turn. 3 problems to divide. Write down your answer, pause the video, and turn it back on when you're done. Alright, here are your answers for you. If you didn't get that, make sure you know why. It is important that you have the correct signage. This is the end of your video. However, I do have a guess name that song for you. So what I need you to do is send me the name of the song with the artist, and then email me your response. The first from each class will get a Jolly Rancher.
I'll never settle down. That's what I always thought. Yeah, I was that kind of man. Just ask anyone. I don't dance, but here I am, spinning you round and round in circles. It ain't my style, but I don't